Finally, it's the home opener for the Utah Mammoth. We've got your guide to the game, the Plaza Party, and more on today's Locked On Mammoth.
You are Locked On Mammoth, your daily podcast on the Utah Mammoth, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in once again to Locked On Mammoth. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every single day when it comes to the Utah Mammoth hockey team. I'm veteran NHL voice Tom Callahan, joined as always by longtime team analyst Robyn Leaño, and today is the home opener. We're excited to finally have a Mammoth game at the Delta Center. Coming into this one, we're going to talk about the game itself. Calgary coming in will be a tough opponent, but also likewise struggling to open the season. There's a Plaza Party and a surprise announcement that, well, I don't know if it's going to be that much of a surprise. We have our guesses. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Robyn, first things first, taking care of business on the ice for the Mammoth in the home opener. They look for their first regulation win of the season. They're 1-2. Calgary comes in 1-3. They started well last night. The Flames played last night at home in Calgary, but ultimately the Vegas Golden Knights come back. Jack Eichel scores twice, and Vegas ends up beating Calgary. Is already folks lamenting what's going on with the Flames. Sounds a little familiar. So tonight's matchup could be a little bit of something's got to give, and I like that for the Mammoth on home ice.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a really unique opportunity for the Mammoth to have that kind of a bounce because, I mean, let's put it this way. It's home. It's the home opener. There's going to be, however loud the Delta Center was last year, imagine it being even louder now that there's, what was it, like well over 1,000 new seats down at the lower bowl. So
it's going to feel like people are sitting in your lap. If you're on the ice, I mean, it's right on top of the action. It's pretty steep. It's very cool, though. But as a fan, I love it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's going to be crazy. It's going to feel like if you are, whoever's in net for Calgary, and by the way, it's very likely going to be Logan Cooley and not Dustin Wolf. And with that, how steep it is on that side, can you imagine for the first 5 minutes, it feels like that goal is under siege because of how loud and because of the steepness. We talked about how noise travels better on those steep slopes. It's going to feel even crazier for them. So if you are behind that net, just go crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, make all the noise you can. Let's have some fun with this. And I know the crowd will be loud and having a lot of fun, especially the ones that show up. The Plaza Party starts at 4. The game doesn't start till 7:30, but the Plaza Party starts at 4. So if you want to, rock your way into the day, you got plenty of time. They've got a band there, which is Shuffle. They're a Utah-based cover band. They're going to do the carpet walk. It's a blue carpet walk for the player walk-in. So they'll have a beer garden, merch sales. By the way, apparently, Robyn, I haven't seen it, but there is exclusive merchandise just for this pregame Plaza Party for the home opener. So
I love it.
If you want to prove that you were there, this is the way to do it.
And I love that idea. I don't know if it's going to have the same feeling as inaugural season Plaza Party and opener and everything like that to be able to say, hey, you were there. But I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, it is the first one as the Mammoth.
True.
Right? It's kind of like a second opening night almost, if you will, for this team because now they have a name. Now they have a logo and more of a team identity here for folks to really kind of get behind and a hashtag and all that fun stuff. So I don't think anything will ever beat the first game actually being there for the first time they touched the ice last year. But I think this is going to be pretty hyped up. It's going to be fun. And again, Calgary coming in struggling. I kind of like that. Especially with the travel. They should be tired, throwing their backup out there against the Mammoth. The goal scoring hasn't been there, Robyn. The defense has been pretty good for the most part. I think the goaltending's been not bad. It's hard to really get too angry at the results defensively so far. Of course, we have talked about and focused on some of the breakdowns and some of the things we want to see improve. But to that end, and we'll get to I want to talk about the scoring and the forward lines and all that, but let's talk about the D here, because in the absence of Sean Durzi, who, by the way, a head coach Andre Tourney, you and I were talking before the show, Robyn, might be alluding that Durzi possibly not out as long as we think.
And it's a nice thought to think of, that he could come back sooner. And again, Tom, this is something you and I were saying off mic before we started recording, is my hope is that they're just not rushing him back, or Durzi is trying to rush himself back. Either one of those. It's no. Let's make sure he's healthy. Let's make sure there's no issue, because we don't want him to come back and then within 1 game, 2 games, whatever it is, and he's back out again, and it's even longer than 4 weeks. Let's say it's the rest of the season, or God forbid, even longer than that.
Right. I mean, let's not put it into a situation where it needs surgery. If it's not there, clearly it's not there right now. Let's not make it worse. That's all I'm asking. When he's ready to come back at 100%. Don't come back at 80% in November. There's no point to that. So the D pair, though, have switched around.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about that as well. And you had the listing on the D pair switches.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I can find it up again. Well, what's interesting, I think, even first and foremost, by the way, is that top pairing, where now Dmitry Simashev is on the top pairing with Mikhail Sergachev.
That is very interesting to me. It shows incredible confidence in the game he's playing. And putting him with Sergachev means Dmitry Simashev's going to have to be the defensively responsible one of the two. He's had a couple positioning mistakes, and he's quick. He's fast enough to get back and kind of cover for them. But Robyn, I'm a little worried at how this is going to go. I'm just going to be honest. I'm a little worried at how this is going to go, but we're going to find out. Hopefully, though, Sergachev has that communication with Simashev, and they're able to play off one another. This, to me, though, Robyn, this kind of speaks to something else. They're trying to get the offense going here. Like, this is I didn't switch the top 6 lines around, head coach Andre Tourney, but he did switch the D pair, and he has one that is literally, to me, screaming, we need to generate offense, and that is this pair.
It is this pair, and it's all, but you can go more into that, as you and I have talked about, with how Dmitry Simashev plays. Again, we've watched him in dev camps. We've watched him, highlights in the KHL, and knowing this guy's physical, and he has an offensive mind, but he also can be shut down with that physicality. And I think that's what could work. As with you, I am a little bit skeptic, because again, you're putting in someone who's, a lot younger on that first pair. I'd like to see it happen, though. I'd like to see it work. And I'm going to put my trust, and hopefully it's another good one.
Now, I tell you this, that pair, if it's me, does not draw top defensive assignments. The other two pair are Schmidt and Marino, and Cole and Mata. Schmidt Marino, to me, is a shutdown pair.
They're going to get the bulk of the minutes, I'm sure. Like I think that the Schmidt Marino, I think, will get the bulk of the minutes.
Yeah, I just would not. I don't know. That's just me. I hope that's not the plan. I don't see Sergachev, Simashev shutting anyone down. I see them trying to put the puck in the net and rushing up the ice. So that's interesting to see that. But those remaining two pair of Schmidt Marino and Cole Mata, that is absolutely lockdown defense. Or at least that's what it's set up to be, right? And DeSimone remains a 7th defenseman, and I think they are going to go 12-6 again. So,
well, I think it's an interesting thing you're bringing that up, Tom. I think something that'd be really interesting, and this is something you talked about, and this is kind of can be a little bit of a segue into talking about the forwards, but that pairing, Sergachev and Simashev, I think could work very well with the top line of Keller, Hayton, Schmaltz. How we talked about how that team, that's a forechecking line, right? That is a line that stays up in the offensive zone the majority of the time. With those two on the blue line, I feel like they can help command that.
Look, if you're going for broke, I put him out with Gunther Cooley Paterka. If you're going for broke, if you want offense.
But here's the issue with that, though.
No, there's no defense on that line at all.
Yeah, there is no defense on that line. And
that's fine. Veg, you got blue line in, buddy.
If there is a bad read, it's not going to look good.
Yeah, no, Veg might even have center line in. Never mind blue line in. He's got center line in.
And I think, and again, that's what, the talk was about, when Paterka first came to Utah from Buffalo is, hey, defensive liability, all things like that. And I think that's why I mentioned on the top line, right? Because that is going to be a true, you're not going to exit your zone. We're going to tire you out.
But if those guys have the puck all the time, if they have the possession metrics, you figure they're going to break through on some front. And maybe that is the gamble that you're trying to make here with that. So we are going to talk more about the forwards, because I think I want to go back to focusing on the bottom six. We did a whole episode about this maybe 2 weeks ago, talking about the bottom six and how that was going to be the key. And honestly, a lot of you didn't watch that, and it's fine, but we're going to talk about it again because of how important it is right now. And today's show brought to you by Monarch Money. Do you know most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments? And when you don't have that full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've been putting off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does that heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally, feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. It helps you maximize your investments. It helps you increase your savings rate. And the best part is you can easily review your finances, whether it's with a financial advisor or you're trying to work a budget with your partner. It helps you keep a clear view of that financial health, both week to week, short term, and long term as well. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use our code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with our code LOCKEDONNHL. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño here with you, Locked On Mammoth. Please take a moment to subscribe. Go ahead and click that button there. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell. That'll give you the notification every time we drop a new show. And we very much appreciate the everydayers who have been here with us. The numbers are growing. The feedback is growing, which is awesome. We love hearing from you, hot take or not. Some of you are starting to drop your hot takes in the comments, and I love it. I love it, Robyn.
Yeah,
you're starting to feel more comfortable.
It's great. Yeah, absolutely. And, I feel like those hot takes can come from maybe how we analyze or maybe how you guys are analyzing. And it allows us to have a more organic conversation on these shows because we're like, okay, I see your take. And by the way, and I want to make this clear, we see everyone's comments, right? We look through everybody's comments and we read you and we care. We care what everyone says.
We do. We actually do. Now, you may not change our mind on the subject. We may not change your mind on the subject, but we can talk about it. So we do encourage that feedback also on the social media side too. So feel free to follow us over there at Locked On Mammoth. Robyn and I have our individual accounts as well. You can find us all over the place, but really the important thing is that you care, we care, and we're discussing what's going on with the Mammoth, which right now, Robyn, is a lack of goal production. Mm-hmm. And again, this episode, I was kind of surprised at how poorly the episode did. And I'm just going to be transparent here. I really thought more people would watch that episode, but I think because we didn't have the sexy names in it, because we weren't talking about Sergachev or Cooley or, Clayton Keller, people are like, bottom six. But I'm telling you right now, the reason Utah is not scoring goals is not the top six. It is the lack of presence from the bottom six, which is also a lack of net front presence from all the lines that we're going to talk about. But Robyn, when the bottom six is not out there running around like little wrecking balls and winning battles, playing physical, and making the other team look over their shoulder because they think they're going to get buried every time they move the puck, they've got to finish their checks. They've got to be physical. They've got to lean on teams, be heavy and hard to play against. They're not there right now. It's not there.
You're right. You're right. And I think what's interesting too is, and again, you expect your top six to take the majority of your shots, the majority of your offense, right? But what's interesting is something you and I talked about, Tom, on our last episode when I brought up the Corsi and Fenwick numbers, stuff like that. But the majority of the possession metrics, like let's say 85 to 90% felt like it just came from those top six lines. Like it shouldn't be that heavy, right? I would say like if it was 70%, I'd be like, okay, that's more reasonable, right? You can the bottom six can take 30%, but as long as it's still getting those quality chances, that's not what we're seeing though.
No, and again, pucks to the front of the net. That's how you're going to get those what we call greasy goals, the hardworking goals, the lunch pail goals. You have to be there for rebounds, and you take punishment in front of the net. Look, everybody loves the highlight reel, the Danny Dangles type of goal. Somebody wheels four guys, but that doesn't happen very often. It's why it makes the highlight reel when it does, because it's rare. But the goals that are scored can be ugly. I don't care if you shoot it in off somebody's shin pad every single time. If it's in, it's in. But the way you do that is traffic in front of the net and taking away the goaltender's eyes. And Robyn, look at Chicago. They are destined to be last in the Central Division, yet that team did a really, really good job of owning the center of the defensive zone against the Mammoth. I don't know if you play any chess, Robyn, but my chess players probably know what I am about to say. The most important real estate in the entire chessboard is the very center. He who controls the center, generally, not always, but generally controls the match. And that is why Utah needs to control the center of the offensive and defensive zones. If they are pushed to the wings, especially in the offensive zone, there's no production, or it's limited, severely limited.
You're right. And here's the thing. Like, you've heard me advocate strongly for being able to get a little bit greasy on the boards, which is fine, but you need to use that to your advantage to open up those lanes down the middle and to get down there into the slot, to get to those high danger chances.
Well, Robyn, you made the point last episode about the cycle game, and the whole point of the cycle game, as we said, was break coverage and containment. Well, the player who breaks that coverage and that containment, what they then engender is puck movement to the front of the net where there is a body. Somebody breaks off that cycle and goes to the front of the net. And that's when the coverage breakdown occurs. When somebody gets lost, that's when they're free in front of the net. That's what the cycle game does. Yeah, it's played on the wall until it's not. And that's what I'm saying. And you're saying is that Utah has not done a good job of playing in front of the net, getting bodies, and just being ugly about it. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's not going to be the perfect shot every time. It is going to be hitting it with your shovel. Knock it in. So that's something to look at. Now, Robyn, let me ask you this question, because I said I'd leave the top six alone. Would you shuffle it up? Would you put, so right now, as we had seen earlier from Brogan Houston, it's Krause, McBain, Carconi, Tanev, Stenlund, Yamamoto in the bottom six. Would you shuffle some of those players a little further up the lineup to try to mix it up a bit?
Would I shuffle some of those players?
Or someone else? Agazino and O'Brien are the extras.
Is O'Brien ready to go?
We don't necessarily know that.
That's the question. If he's ready to go, 100%, I'm inserting him to the lineup. But that said, it's those top, the bottom six at this point. I feel like it's too early in the season to shuffle it up. I think if anything, like drastically. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, at least on the bottom six. I would like to see a little bit, maybe one little shuffle on the top six, potentially. If I just because, I want to see what happens, right? As much as I love the Young Guns line, I kind of want to see a swap between Hayton and Cooley.
And it might not be the worst thing, just to mix it up and see what happens there. But that is the line that's produced the very few goals we've seen so far out of Utah. So I think that's why there's the reticence to do that. If anything, I would put O'Brien in on the right side, either Carcone or Yamamoto. I would take him out because I don't know if it matters what wing O'Brien plays necessarily, but I think you would inject his presence into the lineup. So, All right. Robyn, there's a surprise announcement, which you and I think is the worst kept secret in the hockey universe, but we're going to take a stab at what we think it is. And we're going to tell you what that surprise announcement, they want you in your seat at 7:00. Get in your seat tonight because this is probably coming next.
And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put it down $5, and if it hits, you're going to unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I use FanDuel for just about everything when it comes to sports betting. When it goes to those maybe 8 to 10 leg parlays that I love to put together, not always same game parlays. Sometimes I just go on a Sunday and just pick every single game going on that day or going on in a period just to add some fun and just to make football watching just that much more exciting. So whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience just so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today to get started.
Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño back here with you, locked on Mammoth. It's the home opener tonight against the Calgary Flames. We said they need to get to the net. We've talked about the lineup changes, everything going on. Party on the Plaza starts at 4, so you can get down there extra early and get fired up for the game this evening. But Robyn, they want everybody in their seats a little early. This is what has been called, now this was literally a press release by the team. They want fans in their seats at 7 p.m. to witness a, quote, special surprise moment and pregame entertainment. Now, pregame entertainment, okay, it's the home opener. They're going to do some cool stuff. They probably got a neat video, maybe a drone show, light show, whatever they're going to do. That's okay. That's pretty standard opening night stuff. But Robyn, they don't have a mascot yet.
No, they don't. Last year, they enlisted the help of the Jazz Bear.
Which, I mean, that's the easy move, right? Everybody already knows. Right. Everybody already knows, sees, understands, gets, okay, great. This is perfect. I don't want to say fill in because that's not really what it was, but I mean, kind of got them through because they were still Utah Hockey Club. And I don't know how you would mascot a hockey club, although I did think a Yeti. So that, and I think they missed out. They could have stayed Utah Hockey Club and just had a Yeti for a mascot, but they didn't. So now they're the Mammoth. And look, there's the uniform head. We know what that looks like. Then we've got the goalie masks featuring some version of a woolly mammoth on them. So I think we know where we're going, and it makes sense, Robyn, for the first home game that sometime around that magic 7:00 mark, we're going to find out the name and really the look, I guess, of this mammoth mascot. I feel it's.
Do you follow it? How invested are you, Tom, with Mammoth social media right now? Because it's actually kind of funny that you bring that up.
Okay, go ahead.
Mammoth social media loves to do some digging around. They're like their own investigative journalists in their own way. It's kind of funny, honestly. It's kind of funny. Where they discovered that across multiple different social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, there is an at Clubber NHL that has, but that as of right now, all of the posts and everything and the profile is considered private. You can't even see. There's no avatar. There's no bio. It's just all private. But those names have been claimed. Clubber NHL.
So what you're telling me is the Utah Mammoth is leaking its own mammoth? I mean, Clubber makes sense. I could see that. Like, it's
I
a
mean,
little nod to the first year as a name.
yes, because all
Don't
the
mind
fans.
it.
I mean, all the fans have called themselves Clubbers at this point. Still,
Right. I mean, I honestly don't mind it as a name. I'm not someone who gets super fired up, worked up about mascots and names and identities. I know there are people out there who it wrecks their week if they don't like the mascot reveal. I'm not one of them.
I
So
I
as long
love
as
I
kids like it, I
I
don't
love
care.
a good I love a good mascot. It's something. It's you want like I still feel like you want something that you can you can love and it can be a part of your it's a part of the family. You know.
Let me give you a nice example about this. The last time I ever felt any kind of way about a mascot coming out was Gritty. And my first reaction was, what is that? This is dumb. What's Philly doing? And then I'm like, okay, just because it looks weird and maybe you're not thinking about it, but the name is good. It fits Philadelphia and the Broad Street Bullies identity they used to have. And then I said, you know what? This is fine. And in fact, Gritty is probably now one of my favorite mascots in the league and just has a personality that is bigger than the organization. And I think it's awesome. So I don't know if
Yeah.
maybe Clubber will ever ascend to those heights, but
I mean, a lot of
fun.
teams will like do a nod like to at least something that's that is a previous part of them or what that is somewhere within their identity. It's kind of very subtle. Like Dallas's, for example. Dallas's mascot is named Victor E. Green, named after the name of their color, Victory Green.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
See,
Anaheim has Wild Wing, right? A lot of people love. Like you talk to anyone in OC, they love Wild Wing.
The Buffalo Sabres have Sabretooth, which is a saber-toothed tiger, which would be more apt for the Nashville Predators because Nash is also a saber-toothed tiger. But
what's funny is this is a little fun fact. San Jose is Sharky is his last name. SJ is
SJ
his first
Sharkey.
name.
Yes.
SJ Sharkey.
Yep.
I like it. I loved it. I mean, I grew up with SJ Sharkey, but
okay. So I want to know in the comments, what is your favorite NHL mascot? And then what do you think? If we already know the identity, if you're watching this after it's come out, let us know what you think. Or if it's before, let us know what you're hoping for, I guess, and what that could possibly be. So, Robyn, I mean, it's opening night. It's opening night. It's a home opening night. Let's be clear, but it doesn't get any better than this. It really doesn't. The buzz will be huge. Fans will be fired up. Hopefully the team's fired up. Calgary's coming in, struggling back to back. Man, I hope this is set up for a win. They need it.
They really do. I think it'll be a fun one to watch, right? It'll be fun. It'll be a fun one to watch. As I mentioned earlier on in this episode, the expectation is that Devin Cooley starts in net for Calgary. So there's a lot of hype around the idea that Logan Cooley scores on Devin Cooley, Cooley on Cooley goal. But
well, Robyn, you said 1, I said 3. I'm going for the Logan Cooley hat trick.
Well, before we went on the air, you said 2 at first, but 3 I can. Okay.
No, I'm saying I hope there's 3. I hope there's 3, and that's what I'm going with.
Logan Cooley hat trick. I can go with it.
I don't know what the odds are going to be on that one, to be honest with you. But I can tell you that the FanDuel odds for tonight, right now, Mammoth are the favorite at -230. Flames are the underdog at +188. The over/under is 6.5, and the puck line says Mammoth -1.5.
All right, I got the odds for you right now, Tom.
Okay.
Logan Cooley to score 3+ goals, +8,000.
Take it to the bank. Hat trick. Home opener hat trick. Logan Cooley. Boom. You realize if this happens, I'm going to be so sour for not putting anything on it. But
then why don't you?
I know. Maybe. So, all right. Well, let us know what you think here. If you think this is going to happen or not. Tom's way out of his tree, but you can't come back later and say, Tom, you were right when the game's over. So, Robyn, any final thoughts?
No, just out there, be excited. You know, it's
Yeah.
like my thing is, yeah, even though like we're a week into the actual season, the NHL season being already here, hockey's back, guys. Hockey's back in Utah, and just be that excited for it. You know, it's the atmosphere, everything. Enjoy the season.
So fired up. So looking forward to it. All right. You can always reach us in the comments, but you can always reach us on social media. Robyn, where can they find us?
Yeah, they can find us everywhere on social media at Locked On Mammoth. That's at Locked On Mammoth. I'm primarily active over on Twitter/X. You can you can tweet us at us over there, and I will probably get back to you relatively soon. You know, rather than any of the other platforms. You can find me personally at Robyn_Leaño.
You can find me on Blue Sky at Tom Talks, and I'm on Twitter at Callahan on Air. We thank you as always for joining us. If you're going to the game, have fun tonight. If not, have a blast with the rest of us checking it out, and looking forward to a mammoth win in the home opener against the Calgary Flames. Thanks for being a part of Locked On Mammoth. Newsletters.